So, welcome to this meeting of the Board of Education of Anne Arundel County. This meeting is being televised live on AACPS-TV and streamed on AACPS's YouTube channel. General information and protocols for the meeting are posted on the sign by the doorway as you enter the room, so please make sure you read these if you have not already done so. At this time, we'll have our invocation. O God, we pray to administer that which is just in all educational policies, being ever mindful of your guidance. Stir us to action with love, wisdom, and understanding. And now for our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And so now we're moving on to item 2.03, the approval of our minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have consensus? And we do. Item 2.04, establishing the agenda order. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Consensus? And we do. Item 2.05, the Educator of the Month. Ms. Bullen.
So today, the Board of Education recognizes an educator who embodies the very essence of a school psychologist, who consistently exceeds expectations to ensure the well-being and academic success of students. She provides a full spectrum of psychological services and stands out for her data-driven decision-making approach. Ms. Mary Stewart Kempton is a dedicated and innovative school psychologist at Southern Middle School. Principal Kelly McVeigh said, "I have had the privilege of closely observing and working with Ms. Kempton, and I am continually impressed by her unwavering commitment, expertise, and positive impact she has on our school community." As a key member of the special education team, she is in constant communication with families about testing results she does for special education services and updating families about counseling services she currently provides students. Her ability to consult and collaborate with a wide range of stakeholders, including families, educators, and community members, is admirable. Ms. Kempton also works to ensure that all students receive social emotional instruction during advisory time, as she uses restorative practice community building circles and second step creative advisory lessons for teachers and staff. These lessons teach students to embrace diversity, fostering an inclusive and supportive school climate. Her expertise in school system policies and state policies is evident in her approach to crisis intervention and mental health services. She is adept at navigating and improving our policies to better support students' mental health and well-being. What truly sets Ms. Kempton apart is her exemplary performance and the profound respect she garners from students, parents, and colleagues alike. Whether responding to immediate needs or going the extra mile to inspire students and staff through creative initiatives, she is a pillar of support and inspiration at Southern Middle. Miss Mary Stewart Kempton, would you please come forward to accept the award for the Educator of the Month for March 2025? Oh, my first one. So weird. You're my very first. Where are you so You're my first. I just want to let you know. So, congratulations. So, how did they get you here?
Well, they told me that I was coming to share about our flourishing club at Southern Middle School, which I'm always happy to talk about.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, and who do you have here with you today?
I have my husband, Brian, my son, Tyler.
All my wonderful staff at the non-public office and my lovely school counselor and partner in crime, Ms. Sullivan from Southern Middle, my wonderful principal, Kelly McVeigh, Ryan, Kelly, Stephanie back there from our student services office and school psychology department. So lots of people.
So I know we are acknowledging you for your efforts in school, but I have known your husband for a very long time, and he has always talked about the family dynamic and how lovely you are and how great you are. So I just want to thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Here we go. I will do this. Wait, which one do it? Am I doing this? Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
You can give your speech now.
Okay, item 2.06, our employee of the month.
Our March 2025 Employee of the Month has been a dedicated teaching assistant with Anne Arundel County Public Schools for more than 15 years, and Westmead Early Education Center has been lucky enough to have her during the last 6 of those years. Miss Tarina Ruse, teaching assistant. Miss Rose is more than a teaching assistant. She's an assistant teacher. The kindergartners in her classroom know that Mrs. Ruse is the second teacher in the classroom. She is there to help them, and she cares for them just as much as the lead teacher. She leads small group activities in both literacy and math. She gets to know all her students and uses the resources available to create new activities to meet our young learners where they are and to help them meet the goals we have set for them. Mrs. Ruse continually provides updates on student glows and grows in her small groups so that student groups can be changed as needed or goals can be updated to continue to meet the needs of students. Because of her dedication, there has been increased progress in these young learners and would not have been made if Mrs. Ruse was not supporting them. From her first greeting in the morning to her last goodbye in the afternoon, she forms bonds. Through her mannerisms and professionalism, she also forms connections with the grown-ups of students from her class. Additionally, she attends every after-school event that she can to continually build relationships. Westmead Early Education Center and its community, where our youngest learners are each day, is stronger and more impressive because of employees like Mrs. Ruse. Tarina Ruse, the Board of Education of Anne Arundel County, is proud to award you as March 2025's Employee of the Month. Would you please come forward to accept this award?
Rouse.
The whole time I was reading, it's like, it's going to be wrong. I'm so sorry. How did they get you here?
I'm here for a PD. And I did not, I was on board the whole time. So I'm like, asking Ms. Gagnon, like what time do I have to be there? Do I need to bring my computer? My teacher, I don't know how Miss Moore was able to keep a straight face, but yes, I fell for it.
We're glad you're here. Who's here with you?
This is my husband, David Rouse.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
What is?
Sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And now moving on to item 2.07, our volunteer of the month.
Bear Grove Elementary School's vision is simple, yet profound: growth and opportunity. This vision comes to life when our volunteers step in to make a difference. It is an immense honor to recognize 2 individuals who have gone above and beyond for the students of Bear Grove Elementary as our March 2025 Volunteers of the Month. Mr. Jeremy Carr and Mr. Hunter Roberts. Mr. Carr and Mr. Roberts learned that many of our students had never had the opportunity to experience organized sports. As a former basketball player themselves, they knew how powerful sports can be, not just for physical fitness, but also for building communities, fostering interpersonal skills, and teaching life's lessons. Thanks to their commitment and hard work, the inaugural Belle Grove basketball team was born. Coach Carr, a proud father of several Belle Grove students, don't forget that word, a proud father of several Belle Grove students, is passionate about giving back to his community. He saw basketball as more than just a sport. It became a tool to create unity, instill pride, and provide an outlet for students to grow both on and off the court. And Coach Roberts, a close friend of the Carr's family, not only brought his skills and mentorship to the team, but also turned it into a family affair, with his parents generously donating sweatshirts personalized with students' names to celebrate their Bulldog pride. That's commendable. These coaches have given countless hours to mentoring, guiding, and teaching our students. Their focus extends far beyond the fundamentals of basketball. They've taught our kids how to be great teammates, strong leaders, and respectable individuals, skills that will serve them for a lifetime. The impact of their efforts is undeniable, from improved attendance to behavior to a renewed sense of pride in representing Belle Grove. The transformation has been incredible. 17 of our amazing students are now part of the team that not only plays basketball, but also exemplifies discipline, respect, and community. What makes this story even more inspiring is that it is simple beginnings. A chat between Coach Carr and our principal, Miss Allen, turned during a field trip to see the Orioles, sparked an idea. Just a few short months later, that idea blossomed into something extraordinary, a team that brought both joy and opportunity to our students. Mr. Carr and Mr. Roberts, your dedication to Belle Grove and its students is nothing short of remarkable. You have inspired a sense of belonging, growing, and succeeding that will leave a lasting mark on our school and our community. On behalf of the students, staff, and families of Belle Grove, the Board of Education thank you for your tireless efforts, your passion, your belief in our students. You truly embody what it means to be volunteers of the month. And we're so fortunate to have you as part of the Belle Grove family. Would you please come forward and please join me in giving them a warm applause and show our appreciation for our volunteers of the month. Look, so first of all, let me say thank you. I know that your principal is very proud of this program because otherwise she would not have recommended you for this occasion. So I'm going to start with you first. What's your name?
Hunter.
You're Hunter?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Hunter. I'm Gloria.
Nice to
So
meet
you can tell us why and how they got you here, other than what good story they told you.
Yeah. So I'm a student who graduated from the Anne Arundel County Public School District here myself. I graduated in 2021 from Severna Park High School. I'm personally not from the Belle Grove community, but I've known Mr. Carr here for a few years. We met through playing basketball together, just at the pickup level, but we both instantly had a love for wanting to spread that knowledge that we had learned over the years to younger players and people who may not have gotten as great of an opportunity as us to go farther with the sport. We both realized we had a passion for wanting to spread that on, and we realized we needed to get to coaching and do anything we could do to make that happen. And honestly, a lot of the credit goes to Jeremy. Like they said, that simple conversation between him and Mrs. Allen really did lead to all of this. So thank you so much to the Belle Grove staff, and honestly, thank you, Jeremy, for getting this kick-started.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mr. Carr?
Hey, yes, like it was said, I have 10 children that that are going to be going through Belle Grove altogether. So I noticed that there's not a lot of support for kids and the youth in that community. And a lot of the kids have tougher lives than most of the adults in Anne Arundel County. So why not give them an outlet or someone to speak to. I've played high school, college, professional basketball. I've been down and out. I've been homeless. I've been through the ringer. So why not give them somebody that's, been in their shoes, lost parent at a young age. Kids on the team are going through it right now. So I'm able to speak like hand in hand with them, try and get them from fighting second graders from fighting fifth graders. Now they're on the team, going to class every day. So if I can help out anyway, that's all I care about. Give them back.
Again, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so
Gentlemen?
much. Yeah.
Thank you.
And stick around. We're gonna take some pictures.
Yes, ma'am.
So at this time, we're going to take a short break, I believe, for photographs. Okay, welcome back, everyone. So we're moving on to item 3. Welcome back, everyone. Moving on to item 3.0, public comments on agenda items. We do not have any public comments on agenda items this afternoon. So we'll move on to our report section. Item 4.01, policy committee report. We have no one. So once again, folks, we're at item 4.01, our policy committee report.
Thank you. Sorry about that. All right,
Okay.
yes. Actually, I have a really good report. And there we go. I'm messing up a lot today. The policy committee met yesterday, March 4th, and we discussed IFA pre-kindergarten and kindergarten programs and JCC student conduct. And Ms. Batten and Ms. Rockefeller joined us and gave amazing presentations. And I'm speaking for myself, but perhaps the whole committee when I say this, is that they provided such wonderful information. So I'd like to personally thank them both. Thank you, Ms. Batten. Thank you, Ms. Rockefeller, for joining us. Truly one of the best discussions and policy committee meetings I've ever been a part of because of the fabulous and very thorough information we received. So massive thank you. Changes to IFA pre-kindergarten and kindergarten programs amounted to technical changes, and JCC student conduct will be coming before the board at a future board meeting for consideration by the whole board. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Item 4.02, our equity committee report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. It's the first time I'm doing one of these, which is weird because it's already March. The Equity Committee met last week, Tuesday, February 25th, and the primary purpose of that meeting was to discuss the committee's future. Several individuals, including myself, felt that the committee lacked a clear direction, which was hindering our progress a little bit. Ultimately, it was very clear we decided not to dissolve the committee or to convert it into an ad hoc committee. As I said, the sentiment was very clear. The group remained committed to the Equity Committee's mission of ensuring a structured, equitable education for all of our students. The main takeaway, I think the most productive aspect of that meeting was that starting from scratch each September is unproductive. We get a new student member, a new chair every September. And so to ensure that next year's chair and members can begin their work effectively, we've decided to establish our goals far earlier this year at our next May meeting so we can start the fall with a well-defined direction and hit the ground running. I don't know why I keep saying we, I won't be here. But at our next meeting, we'll also discuss, I know, where did the time go? We'll discuss allocating time on that equity committee agenda for reports from staff and other members, just so we have as I guess, wide a picture as we possibly can when we're making decisions and coming back to the full board. But that's all from me. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Moving on to item 4.03, the president's report. I do have a few things to report. On Wednesday, the 26th of February, Dr. Bedell and some of my colleagues and I had the pleasure to attend some of the surprise visits for our Teacher of the Year finalists. And I know Dr. Bedell is going to talk about this, I believe. We congratulate all the finalists, and we look forward to finding out who will, in fact, become the AACPS Teacher of the Year. We have so many great teachers and staff here in this county. We celebrate each and every one of you, but we also look forward to honoring these finalists. And this certainly is quite an honor for them. So congratulations. And on the 27th of February, I had the privilege and honor to attend the District 30 in the Miller meeting in the Miller Senate Office Building in Annapolis. This certainly is a very busy time of year for all of our political friends in Annapolis, and we do appreciate everything that is being done at this time for our educational system. and for the students of Anne Arundel County Public Schools. There are many challenges, and we are collaborating on both sides of the aisle for the great kids, schools, and staff we have here in AACPS. This morning, I had the honor and privilege to meet with the Scholars for Scholarships group. This great group has been around for a long time, and they're always focused on providing scholarship dollars to our students, and they are in the midst right now of receiving applications and taking a look at that, and they're going to be providing a large amount of scholarship money for our kids. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Executive Director Pam Van Diver and the entire group for everything they do for our students. So my colleagues and I, some of my colleagues and I, over the recent past few weeks, have had opportunities to meet with some individuals and some groups to listen to concerns and to open some conversations and have some dialogue concerning the Phase 2 redistricting. My comments have always been prefaced by saying that redistricting means that some students will have to go to different schools. And I will tell you that that has clearly resonated with everyone with whom I have met, and it seems to be understood. We do have a specific process for the redistricting, and it is a transparent one, and there will continue to be opportunities for us to meet with individuals and groups to build positive relationships, which will help us in the long run. And for the past couple meetings, I've made a statement also about this, and I'm going to repeat that statement because what we've heard from those with whom we've talked is that they appreciate the comments that I'm making, that Dr. Bedell is making. The board understands that many people have questions and or concerns regarding the Phase 2 redistricting process. We are still very much at the beginning of a collaborative process. In support of that collaboration, a private consultant, WXY, was hired to put together scenarios. These scenarios are just that. They are not recommendations. The superintendent can amend the scenarios and based on community feedback and many other factors. In fact, that occurred in Phase 1. Until the superintendent actually makes a recommendation in July, the board will not be directly involved in any planning related to the redistricting. At this early juncture, the redistricting process is being led by the superintendent's staff with the consultant and the public's input. I encourage you to utilize the web tool that was created for you. I understand that many are doing that. It was created for you and your fellow community members to provide input to the superintendent so that he can formulate a recommendation or recommendations to the board. So please go to www.aacpsredistricting.org to view the scenarios and leave your comments by May 1. The board will select an option or options to bring forward for a public briefing and public hearings, which will be scheduled in September and October of 2025. Complete information about the redistricting process can be found at www.aacps.org/Phase 2 redistricting. Thank you so much. That does conclude my report. I see one light, Ms. Shahan.
Yes, another thing that happened in the last 2 weeks was the Caucus of African American Leaders meeting last night, which several of us attended and which Dr. Bedell presented at. And pretty much every member of the cabinet was there. I mean, a very large majority. And I just wanted to say that I personally felt that it was a very thorough presentation. It was very, very well attended, and so I'm just grateful for the presentation. I think the community is as well. Thanks.
Thank you. So that does conclude the president's report. Moving on to item 4.04, the superintendent's update. Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for those remarks around redistricting. It is important, even though it's not one of my slides, that we reiterate to everybody that we're here to work with this community through this process. And we will set up opportunities to both provide further context but also hear from the community. So more information will be coming out soon regarding those opportunities. So thank you for those remarks. First, thanks to you and our board members, members of our senior leadership, and the Education Foundation officials who attended the Teacher of the Year finalist visits last week. This is always one of my favorite days of the year, and as Mr. Silkworth said, it was just awesome. The reactions of the teachers are great, but for me, it is the emotion of that the students show for their teachers that really makes the day. If you tune in to Thursday Thoughts tomorrow, you'll get to see some of that as we give you a behind the scenes look at those surprises. Congratulations again to all of our finalists. Next, I want to thank this awesome group of employees, our bilingual facilitators. You may not recognize their faces because a lot of their work is done behind the scenes with international families, but they are critical to helping develop relationships and deliver resources that help students to belong, grow, and succeed. Let me give you just one example. In October, we had nearly 2,100 students with family members whose first language is not English and who had not signed up for the parent portal. And as you all know, the parent portal is what we use to deliver important information throughout the year to our families. Through a project led by Karen McDonald, manager of our International Family Outreach programs, that number had been decreased to about 1,200 5 weeks ago and is now less than 400. This is work that is having a huge positive impact across our system. I again want to thank all of our bilingual facilitators for the work that you're doing. Additionally, Karen is one of 3 members of our AACPS family I want to recognize next. She was honored for her efforts to help bridge gaps for our international families with a Michelle Obama Award from County Executive Stuart Pittman and the Caucus of African American Leaders on Monday night at Maryland Hall. Among other honors, Dave Kaufman, our senior manager for Apex Arts, was recognized for his lifetime work in music education by being named the 2025 inductee into the Maryland Music Educators Association Hall of Fame. We are very proud of Dave and thankful for his work with our students. And last but not least, Danielle Crankfield of Crofton High School has been named the Maryland School Counselor of the Year. Danielle has served students in Anne Arundel County Public Schools since 2010 and has been at Crofton High School since it opened in 2020. Congratulations to all 3 of these honorees. And as I close out, as you all know, when we hit the month of March, you will notice that teachers and the newly added teacher assistants, we will not have updates because we are at this point in full-blown recruitment season to fill those vacancies. For those of you who don't remember, a couple weeks ago, our teacher vacancy rate was at 55, teacher assistants was at 50. And as you can see, bus drivers, and these are internal bus drivers, not through our partners, which are also known as vendors, we have 4. And so this is an area where we will continuously, aggressively work to recruit to fill those 4 vacancies. We're still at 0 with our alternative vehicle drivers. Food services are at 90. At one point, that number peaked at 118. And we did an incentive program to try to reduce it. We think some of the requested adjustments with how people are being paid in the upcoming budget, hopefully that gets approved and will help us to put a dent in that area. Custodians, 13.5 compared to 25 last year, crossing guards, and you see our school nurses. And so it's important that everybody understand that we will aggressively do everything in our power to get our system in a much better position than the way we opened it. But 55 teacher vacancies out of nearly 5,800 is commendable, and it tells me that we're doing a good job of retaining folks. But we want to also figure out how we can continue to retain even more, but also do a better job of recruiting. So I do want to thank HR for the work that you're doing in that space. Mr. President, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Bedell. So moving on to our consent items, award of contracts. Do I hear a motion to bundle?
Motion to bundle 5.01 through 5.06.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. We have consensus? And we do. Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The superintendent recommends that the Board of Education authorize the award of contracts under the consent items numbered 5.01 through 5.06.
So moved.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Shahan.
Yes, I have a couple questions about 5.05 staffing support special education. I did submit questions in advance, and I'm so grateful for the response I received, but I do want to ask on the record so that the broader community can understand, because a few years ago, this landed us, the board, in some pretty hot water with the community and amongst current educators directly employed by the school system. And so I just want to ask my questions on record as to what led us to need these specific positions that are contracted and not direct hire. So if that could be answered. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I would, since you coming up, I'll let you answer it. I was pulling up mine. I was ready. Go ahead.
I know you're ready. Jessica Kutches, Chief Human Resources Officer. Ms. Schallheim, certainly it's always our intent to hire our employees to be AACPS members of our staff, but unfortunately, given staffing shortages, especially in the area of special education, we at times do have to contract services to ensure that we provide the federally and state mandated services to our special education students. So it's the exception, it's not the rule. It just is when we cannot hire our own staff to provide services to students. At that point, then we would have these contracts available so that students don't have a gap in services.
Excuse me. Excellent. Thank you for the explanation. I think that's important for the whole community to hear. While we are contracting with this partner for services that need to be rendered now, are we continuing to look to fill those internally moving forward?
Absolutely. It's always our intent to hire our own staff. And so every effort is made to do that.
Okay. Thank you. I just thought it was important to get that on the record. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no more lights, Ms. Howe.
Dr. Tobin,
Aye.
Ms. McDermott,
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam,
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim,
Aye.
Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Ms. Hamdawi,
Aye.
Ms. Dent,
Aye.
and Mr. Silkworth.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Okay, moving on to our action item 6.01, administrative personnel appointments. Dr. Bedell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The superintendent recommends that the personnel listed on the attached sheet be promoted and/or appointed as discussed in executive close.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Howe.
Dr. Tobin,
Aye.
Ms. McDermott,
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam,
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim,
Aye.
Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Ms. Hamdawi,
Aye.
Ms. Dent,
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Item 6.02, personnel. Dr. Bedell.
Mr. President, the superintendent recommends that the board approve the actions as stipulated on the attached sheets.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, Ms. Howe.
Dr. Tobin,
Aye.
Ms. McDermott,
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam,
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim,
Aye.
Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Ms. Hamdawi,
Aye.
Ms. Dent,
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Policy revisions on third reading, 6.03, emergency plans, code EH.
All right, I know Grace Wilson was in here and should be coming up, but as I'll go ahead and do the recommendation. This is the third reading of this policy, emergency plans EH. We did not receive any additional comments, public comments. The superintendent recommends approval of policy EH, subject to final correction for style and format.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, Ms. Howe?
Dr. Tobin?
Aye.
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie?
Aye.
Ms. Dent? Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Okay, on second reading, item 6.04, reporting child abuse and neglect, code JEF.
All right, Ms. Wilson is here and will take us through this. This is the second reading for this policy. We did receive one comment during the 30-day public comment period, and that has been included in the meeting materials. I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bedell, and my apologies all. Good afternoon, Mr. Silkworth, Vice President Dent, and members of the board. For the record, Grace Wilson, Policy JEF, reporting child abuse and neglect, is before you on second reading after being posted for a 30-day public comment period. As Dr. Bedell said, you did receive a public comment on this policy, and that was shared with board members in advance of the meeting. As a reminder, the policy and the accompanying regulation were requested for review by staff in order to incorporate revisions to state regulation. Upon review, staff has recommended technical edits and edits to style and formatting for the policy. And we've also proposed revisions to the accompanying regulation as well. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions you have on policy JEF.
Okay, I'm seeing no lights, so we have no questions. Thank you. We'll be moving on to other action items, item 6.05, items of legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Silkworth. There are a number of bills in the items of legislation exhibit before you. I am requesting today that the board take a position on one bill. This is Senate Bill 977, which is the Maryland Data Privacy Act. This would require AACPS to deny access to a database or any individual who appears to be seeking to enforce federal immigration law unless the individual presents a valid warrant or is issued by a federal or Maryland court and it clearly identifies the records to be assessed. As you can see, staff is recommending a position of support on this legislation and would be happy to take any questions you may have on this bill or any other items of legislation before you.
Okay, so I guess we need a motion for that. Okay, do I hear a motion?
I move to support Bill, I'm sorry, it was Senate Bill
977.
9776?
977.
977, as recommended by staff.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing no lights, Ms. Howe?
Dr. Tobin?
Aye.
Ms. McDermott?
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam?
Aye.
Ms. Schallheim?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Ms. Hamdowie?
Aye.
Ms. Dent?
Aye.
And Mr. Silkworth?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you all.
Can you just provide a quick update on our particular legislation, where we are at this point for the board and the community?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Bedell, for the opportunity. So as many of you know, the board and superintendent have requested House Bill 226 and Senate Bill 569 be filed on behalf of Anne Arundel County Public Schools. This bill would create an exemption to the 180-day requirement in state law for Anne Arundel County Public Schools only for us to eliminate the use of early dismissal days from the school calendar. At this point in time, the bill has been heard in both the House and the Senate. It has been voted favorably on with amendments by both the Senate and House delegation, and we are waiting on the Ways and Means on the House side and Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee on the Senate side to take a vote on the bill. We're hopeful they'll vote favorably, and then things will move smoothly after that. But this is the farthest the legislation has made it in the legislative process thus far. Thank you.
Ms. Dent?
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. And I appreciate all the work that you've done to get this across the finish line. Do you know, have a date on which the House Ways and Means Committee is going to actually?
We do not. It's at the discretion of the committee. So at this point in time, the next date that's really on my radar as far as the legislation is March 17th. That's crossover. Both chambers must have reported favorably on the bill at that point in time in order for it to be considered in the opposing chamber during the crossover period.
Okay.
So if we don't have a favorable committee point at that point in time, the bill will be dead.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Mr. President, if I can just add this piece, I really do want to commend you on your efforts. We also hired a lobbyist this year, and I know Grace and the lobbyists have worked extremely well. We've gotten into rooms that historically we were not able to get into. We've been able to speak to some of the highest positions of elected officials one-on-one to help them understand our legislation. And I think honestly, by them hearing directly from us, it cleared up a number of misconceptions. So I do want to thank you along with the partnership that you have formed with our lobbyists.
My pleasure, and it's been a pleasure to work with them and have the additional resources. Thank you.
So, Ms. Wilson, I also would like to thank you. You really have worked hard on this. But Dr. Bedell, you've worked extremely hard on this too, and have had quite an impact. So thank both of you. It's as far as it's ever gotten. Keep our fingers crossed. Okay.
Thank you all.
All right, seeing no more lights, we're moving on to item 6.06, Northeast High School third-party project pavilion.
Mr. President, the superintendent recommends approval of the Northeast High School third-party project, the Pavilion Project.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Seeing no lights, Ms. Howe.
Dr. Tobin,
Aye.
Ms. McDermott,
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam,
Aye.
Ms. Shawheim,
Aye.
Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Ms. Hamdawi,
Aye.
Ms. Dent,
Aye.
Mr. Silkworth.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Item 6.07, Carver EEC schematic design.
Mr. President, this is one that I'm extremely excited about. The superintendent recommends approval of the Carver Early Education Center schematic design.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing no lights, Ms. Howe.
Dr. Tobin,
Aye.
Ms. McDermott,
Aye.
Ms. Pulliam,
Aye.
Ms. Shawheim,
Aye.
Ms. McFarland,
Aye.
Ms. Hamdawi,
Aye.
Ms. Dent,
Aye.
and Mr. Silkworth.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Okay, moving on to our review item 7.0, award of contracts. Or were there any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Ms. McDermott.
Mr. President, I would like to take a moment of personal privilege if you'll allow it. I am thrilled to see that Carver Early Education Center is going to be expanded and improved to offer much needed pre-K services to the Gambrels community. If you aren't aware of its location, this building sits quietly up on a shady hill between districts 4 and 7, between us, on Route 3. What a lot of people don't know, and what I didn't know previously, is that this same school served exclusively African-American students in our community up until Anne Arundel County Public Schools was desegregated in September 1966. I'm incredibly fortunate to have met one of the educators who taught at the school, Mrs. Patricia Butler Caldwell of the Honorable Caldwell family, one of the prominent African-American families who was a part of shaping this county. Mrs. Caldwell and her fellow teachers also provided much-needed services to the Gambrels community by supporting African-American children and their families through their dedication and commitment to their academic and personal successes, ultimately contributing to the prosperity of Anne Arundel County for generations to come. So it is with tremendous gratitude that I simply want to say thank you and to pay respect to those who've gotten us here. And we are thinking of Mrs. Caldwell and her family, who I know are loyally by her side this week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, now moving on to review item 7.01, award of contracts. No questions or concerns? Okay, so we'll be moving on to item 8.0, our public comments on non-agenda items. We have one person that will be testifying. This is one of the opportunities that the board provides to hear the views and receive the advice of community members. The members of this board appreciate hearing from interested citizens. As appropriate, we will refer your concerns to the superintendent for follow-up by staff. While we encourage public input on policies, programs, and practices within the purview of this board and the school system, this is not the proper forum to address specific student or employee matters or to comment on matters that do not relate to public education in Anne Arundel County. I remind everyone that any inappropriate personnel remarks or other behavior that disrupts or interferes with the conduct of this meeting are considered out of order. Persons who otherwise disrupt or disturb this meeting will not be allowed to continue. It is not the board's general practice to engage in question and answer sessions with speakers. For the record, please give your name before speaking. If there are any handouts, they should be given to the board assistant. We ask the speakers to observe the 2-minute clock. A yellow light will shine when you have 30 seconds remaining, and a tone will sound when your time has expired. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the tone. So we do have one speaker, Mary Didone. Mary.
I feel like saying we have to quit meeting this way, but we need to continue meeting this way. Hello, President Silkworth, Vice President Dent, Superintendent Bedell, all the members of the board, the cabinet, and the listening public. I speak today on behalf of the Anne Arundel County NAACP. I'm going to read from my script, which has been reviewed by our AACP, NAACP branch president, Stephen Waddy, and therefore is delivered with the voice of the Anne Arundel County branch of the NAACP. The Anne Arundel County NAACP is aware of the egregiously racist videos circulated at Crofton High School and the subsequent communication from Principal Greg Ryan to the parents and community. We look forward to as much transparency as AACPS can provide on this event and the issues it raises as quickly as possible, and we remain available to engage with you to ensure the dignity and affirm the value of all students. From our perspective, we are beyond alarmed about the ongoing societal attacks on students of color, and we welcome your public response in the strongest of words as soon as possible. We are used to hearing, preceding this administration, and still, that all is being conducted in accordance with the Student Code of Conduct. We understand we must protect student privacy, and we must protect, by contract, teacher and staff privacy as well. At the same time, in accordance with the Student Code of Conduct, is a huge area to be covered. We are looking for as much transparency as you can provide, down to the lowest level you can provide, about consequences and causes and remediations, not necessarily in this case with the general issue. Thank you. Thank you also for last night's presentation of the Caucus of African American Leaders. I was watching you on video. It was great to see all your faces. Thank you.
Thank you. So we do not have any other individuals to testify. So I am looking, I think, for a motion for us to go into closed session.
Mr. President, let me put on my glasses.
I need them also.
Mr. President, I move that the board go into closed session to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice on a legal matter and to consult with staff, consultants, and other individuals about pending or potential litigation, and to conduct collective bargaining negotiations or consider matters related to negotiations.
Second.
Consensus? Okay, so before we conclude, just a few announcements. The board will hold a workshop here March 17th. It'll be a 6 p.m. Workshop right here in the boardroom. And the next general board meeting will be on Wednesday, March 19th, 2025. It will be a 6:30 p.m. event here in the boardroom. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.